Moving on, though, I want to talk about some of the scenarios in the NFL. When it comes to the playoffs, we're in the last week, week 18, and there's no way to really tell what's going on in the AFC. So we're gonna kind of skip over when it comes to the Bengals and the Chiefs, and when it comes to the Bills, we're gonna skip that whole
Yeah,
situation because there's no way to figure out who's gonna win that first seed until we know
true.
when the game's gonna be played. But we do know what we do and what we can't figure out is about some of the AFC East, AFC West, our NFC West, some of those situations. So first, you're gonna have the AFC South title. What is more likely for the Jaguars to go 8-8 and clinch it and beating the Titans, or for the Titans to beat the Jags?
Um, I said I honestly think that the Jags, I think they will beat, and I think they should beat the Titans just because the Titans are without a starting quarterback. I feel like going to the playoffs, you gotta have a stable quarterback, let alone an elite quarterback. You gotta have an elite quarterback to do well in the playoffs. Or you're gonna just lose in the first round. And I feel like even if the Titans do win, it's gonna be a waste because they gonna lose in the first round. I just feel like Trevor Lawrence is he's getting to that elite status. He might not be elite yet, but he's getting
He's
there.
approaching,
He
knocking on the
shows,
door.
yeah, yeah, he's knocking on the door for real. Man. He's knocking loud. And over these last, no, for
Ring
real,
that
over these last
doorbell,
few,
man.
man, that boy ringing that doorbell, man. That boy ringing that shit nonstop. Um, it's crazy because Trevor Lawrence over the past couple of weeks he's been showing signs of like just great progression, showing signs of like elite status. Yeah, and I feel like he should be able to continue to play really well against the Titans. The Titans defense is pretty good though, but he should play well against the Titans. I feel like they should pull out this win, and I feel like they do get into the playoffs. They will be a tough team to beat just because their defense is pretty good too. The defense is pretty tough. And they're on a roll right now. I think they won like four in a row. So
And
yeah, man.
I think
Jaguars, man. Shout out to them.
Yeah, I think you hit that on the head. And I don't think the Jaguars probably 5, 6 weeks ago. I don't think they would be considered a dangerous team in the playoffs. But considering they're
Hmm.
getting so hot this late in the season, I feel like they got to be a threat to anybody. But Derrick Henry, he just came back to practice, but he's still not 100%. He's kind of forcing it because they need him. So I'm gonna take the
Yeah.
Jaguars, like you said. Trevor Lawrence is ringing that doorbell loud, and he's letting it be known that he's a real quarterback and an elite quarterback into this coming into this league. But next you're gonna
Hmm.
have the AFC North. Like I said, we're not really gonna dive into that because we don't know what's gonna happen between the Bengals and that whole little trio. But with the number 7 seed, what is more likely for the Patriots to clinch with the win at the Bills or the Dolphins? The Dolphins to clinch 8-8 with the win against the Jets and the Patriots loss at the Bills. For the Steelers to win with to win versus the Browns and Dolphins lost versus the Jets and Patriots lost at Bills. The Jaguars 8-8 clinch with the loss at Titans, losses by Dolphins and Patriots and the Steelers. So I know that was kind of hard to break down, but so basically, who's gonna get the number 7 spot? I feel like the last teams. There's a lot of other shit that has to go right, especially for the Steelers. They need to win, and then they need the Browns and the Dolphins to lose, and then they need a Jets Patriots loss at the Bills. They need a Jets and a Patriots loss.
Are they trying to say the Jags can still get the number seven seed even if they lose the division?
Yeah, that's just to get if they lose a division, just to get the number 7 seed.
Oh wow, damn, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
that
No,
it's a lot of
yeah.
shit to break down. So basically, who's the most likely though to get that 7 spot?
I feel like the first two options is more likely. Like we was talking about the Titans and the we're talking about the Titans and the Jags. I feel like whoever wins that game is going to win the division. Like that is what it is. But I feel
Right.
like yeah, I feel like the Patriots. I feel like they will lose to the Bills. I feel like they're gonna lose to the Bills, and then I feel like because I feel like the Bills are really fighting. You know, they fighting for something for real. They gonna play for their boy Demar. They gonna fight for their brother.
Right.
I feel like the Bills are gonna beat the Patriots, and then
Yeah, that should be
it's up to the
easy. That should be
Dolphins.
easy dub.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna say easy because the Patriots been playing really well these past couple of weeks. But yeah, I think the Dolphins. That's my scenario. I think the Dolphins will make it. I think McDaniel's will get in. I think they're going to pull it out against the who they play the Jets. I think they're going to beat the
Yeah.
Jets.
And that's what I think too. I feel like the Dolphins have the most likely scenario just because all they got to do is win versus the Jets. And then the Jets, I don't think they who do they got started? I don't even think it's Mike White this week. I'm not sure, but even if it is, okay, I still feel confident in the Dolphins, so the Dolphins should be able to get a win. And then the Jets. Oh wait, so then the Patriots lost at Bills. I feel like that's pretty likely. I feel like the Bills, like you said, they're gonna be playing for their brother. And then they're also just a way better team. They got Josh Allen. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
Patriots got Mac Jones. That speaks enough for itself. But Bill Belichick is not gonna go down easy. He's fighting for a playoff spot. He knows what needs to be get done. So whatever he has up his sleeve, he's gonna throw it all out. He's gonna throw the whole kitchen sink out so he can get a win against the Bills. But I feel like you said, I feel like the most likely scenario would have to be that Dolphins game. Next is moving on to the NFC. You got a chance to get the number one seed in the NFC. You have the Eagles could clinch with any of the following: a win or tie versus the Giants, a Cowboys loss or tie against the Commanders, a 49ers loss or tie versus the Cardinals. The 49ers could clinch with the following: a win versus the Cardinals, a Eagles loss versus the Giants. The Cowboys could win the division or win the number one seed by a win at the Commanders, Eagles loss versus the Giants, and a 49ers loss or tie versus the Cardinals. What's the most likely scenario?
To be honest, I honestly think we're gonna beat the Giants. I mean, everybody might call me biased, but I feel like, especially if Jalen Hurts come back, I feel like we're gonna beat the Giants. I think it's gonna be a good game though. Don't get me wrong, because these division games are tough. The three losses that we lost three games, but the two losses out of those three, we lost to division opponents, the Cowboys and the Commanders. So we definitely can't take this game lightly. But yeah, I feel like Jalen Hurts come back. I feel like we can pull it out. I think we can win the division. But knock on wood, man. If we end up losing, I feel like the Cowboys. Who do the Niners play again? My bad. Niners play the Cardinals.
They got the Cardinals.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the Niners, they can get it too, though, man. They can win the number one seed. But hey, to be honest, too, like, don't get me wrong, though, man. Like, I feel like I don't think the Cowboys gonna win it, though. I don't think they're gonna win number one seed. I think it's definitely out of the Eagles and the 49ers. I think it's a 2-team race right now, which is perfect, man. We didn't talk about this all year. It's come down to our two teams. I love it. But
Facts.
no, yeah, it's crazy. I hope it really come down to that playoff match of the NFC Championship. But no, yeah. The one thing about the number one seed, though, don't get me wrong. I will want the number one seed, especially with Jalen Hurts kind of been banged up a bit. But like I mentioned last time too, the number one seed, it comes with a lot of pressure. It's like being the number one seed in any sport. You have a lot of pressure, especially when it's a one and done scenario.
Pressure, baby. Super Bowl come with pressure.
Yeah.
If you're not built for it, you shouldn't be in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. When you in a one and done scenario, that number one seed shit don't really matter, to be honest. Even that bye week. So it's a lot of pressure, though. It's just a lot of pressure just because you're number one. Everybody's like, oh, this is the team to beat. They have home field advantage. But shit, sometimes home field advantage don't matter either, man.
And like you said, I'm gonna have to agree. I feel like it's a 2-team race. I feel like the Cowboys need a lot to go right for them to end up making it, and they played themselves out of this situation. They have nobody to blame but themselves, but they still in a good spot. They still have an opportunity for that first spot. But I don't see the 49ers losing. They playing against the third stringer. They're not playing against Kyler Murray. They're not playing against Colt McCoy. They're playing against a guy that I don't even know his name. So I don't think that I don't see the Niners losing this game, but you never know. And with the Eagles, I feel like they had the most likely scenario just because all they got to do is win, just win, baby. But they're playing against a good Giants team, and the Giants are known. This is their time. The Giants are known for January football, December football, late time football, to stamp themselves. Eli Manning's been doing it. They won championships during around this time. And I feel like they're going to come in with something to prove. They're going to come in like they want to show that they're a real team entering in the playoffs, and the Eagles, the 49ers, the Cowboys don't matter. Anybody could get it against the Giants. So I feel like they're going to come in with sort of a chip on their shoulder. But we'll see how that goes. Next, you got the NFC East. That's basically for the number one spot. Whoever wins the NFC. You get a win versus the Giants or Cowboys loss at Commanders. That shit that really doesn't even matter. We're just talking about the first seed. Fuck the East title. Who wants that shit? But with the number 7 seed in the wild card with the NFC, you're gonna have the Packers. This is gonna be a good ass week of football. You're gonna have the Packers at 8-8. All they need to do is beat the Lions. They control their own destiny. We spoke about this. And then you got the Lions. They got to get a win at the Packers, and the Seahawks loss or tie against the Rams, or they could get a tie against the Packers. I'm not going to bring up all those scenarios. The main scenario is a win against the Packers and a loss against the Seahawks. The Seahawks, they're 8-8. A way for them to make it would be they'll have to win against the Rams and a Packers loss or tie to the Lions. What's the most likely scenario?
Low key, man, it's funny because I mean, this is. I'm gonna tell you what I want to happen, but then I'm gonna tell you what I really honestly think is gonna happen. So what I want to happen, I want to see the Lions get in just because they're a true underdog story. They went 1-7. They won like 7 games in a row or maybe 8 games, and everybody counted them out. And it's funny. I love to see when people are counted out and when teams are counted out. I love to see them overcome adversity and bounce back. And the Lions this year's was the
Underdog.
offseason Hard Knocks team.
Yeah,
So I feel like that's pretty cool too. So I feel like for them to make a run and make the playoffs, that'd be a great story for this
especially
season.
after starting the season how they did. They started 1-6, 1-7, and then now they fought themselves in a spot to finally make the playoffs. And they haven't made the playoffs since like 2000, early 2000s, early mid 2000s. It's been some time.
Yeah, since Calvin was there for real. It was Calvin Johnson. But yeah, and honestly too, I think if they get in, they can make a run. I feel like not make a run like that, but I feel like they can definitely be competitive, and I definitely think they can be gritty. I think they can maybe win 1 or 2 games. It's the playoffs, man. You never know what can happen. And Jared Goff, he's a veteran quarterback. He's been to the Super Bowl before. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have veteran receivers. So yeah, I feel like they can. I feel like they can make it do what it do. But what I feel like is going to happen though, that the Lions, what I want them to get in the playoffs. But I feel like what I know, I think the Green Bay Packers are going to do it. I feel like Aaron Rodgers. I trust Aaron Rodgers so much. He had a tough year. He's had a tough year. Same thing with him though. He's overcome a lot of adversity this season. Whether it was a lung injury where they thought he was going to be done for the year. He got beat up against the Eagles. He still played pretty well though. He's always been playing pretty well. I feel like it was kind of like his team, his offense, his young receivers that was kind of like the downfall of them, kind of like struggling. But they picked it up, like you said last time, Darren. Like Christian Watson has picked it up. That they running game has picked it up. They starting to figure out, better late than never, to be honest. But they running game has picked up a lot. AJ Dillon and my boy Aaron Jones. But yeah, I feel like they're gonna win it though. I feel like the Packers gonna do it. And like you said, they got the easier scenario. All they gotta do is win. If they win, they're in. And I feel like that's what they're gonna do. I feel like they're gonna win it. I feel like they're gonna pull it out. And shit, Packers are really scary. The shit, fuck the Lions. If the Packers get in the playoffs, they gonna be scary. No, for real. Like scary for anybody. Whether it's the Eagles, especially the Eagles, because we played them already. And
I don't know about the Niners, man. The Niners already handled them boys.
Yeah.
Boys.
Yeah, they handled them boys,
2 or 3 years straight. They handled them boys. Even
they
this year, they played them.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers though, man. Aaron Rodgers, man. When you face a good quarterback, you never know what can happen.
I don't know, man. The Niners played Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. They played the Niners in the playoffs back-to-back years, and they got eliminated twice. You feel me? So they got eliminated at Levi's, then they went, and then they went to Wisconsin and whooped their ass in the snow. So I can't give them the benefit of the doubt in there. There's no way. Even every time they play against each other, it don't go good. But I get what you're saying. You got to watch out for Aaron Rodgers. And this week, I feel like the Packers should be able to beat the Lions. Aaron Rodgers knows what's at stake. Aaron Rodgers is the bad man. Even though I just said what I said, pretty much against Aaron Rodgers struggled against the Niners all his career. This is not something new. It's not like he's just been their kryptonite ever since they skipped out on him. But Aaron Rodgers against the rest of the league, he gonna tear their ass up. He's a bad man. Stephen A. Smith said it. And the Lions, their defense, okay, some games are good, some games they're not so great. But I can't see Aaron Rodgers coming in and losing this game. This would be a real legacy killer. I really believe that. Like, you get a chance to get into the playoffs and then you lose to the Lions. And I want to say they're at home. I want to say they was at home. But either way, you lose to the Lions, had a chance to make it to the playoffs. Nah. They're not letting that slide. Your legacy, there's a lot of stuff at stake for this week.